Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Today, I am sharing with you 3 ways a well-written job posting will ease your new hire search. When you're getting ready to hire for your business, a job posting is your way of advertising that opening to the people that are looking, right? Without a job posting, without a way to tell people that you're hiring, it's very difficult to get people into your candidate pool. And you might say, well, I could just tell people that I'm hiring and I'll get referrals. But as we'll talk about today, if you want to get the right people, you need to have a job posting. Even if it's only one that you share with your connections, with that possible referral, you still need a job posting. And let's talk about why and how having one, a well-written one, will make your job search go a lot different than if you didn't have one at all, or if you just threw one together. Because trust me, there are so many job postings out there that are thrown together and do not do the job that they are intending to do. So to start us off, the number one purpose of a job posting is to attract the qualified candidates. And let me tell you, this is a little trickier than what most people think. Most people think all I need to do is put pretty much the title out there, tell people that I'm hiring, and those qualified candidates are going to come running. It's that whole philosophy, if you build it, they will come. Well, if you just tell people that you have an opening, it doesn't matter what that opening is, people want to work for you so bad that they're going to start knocking down your door and tell you that they're available, and then you get to select which one of those people are right for the position. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but that is a dream that a lot of business owners have, but that it's just a dream. It is not reality. The reality is you need a job posting that speaks to your qualified candidates. It needs to tell the qualified candidates, hey, this is a job for you. You need to apply to this job because it matches exactly what you're looking for. Let me tell you about a client of mine. And I'm pretty sure I shared this story before, so you might have heard this, so bear with me. So this client of mine, when we started working together, he was not very excited about hiring. He knew it was something he had to do for his business, but to him, hiring was a challenge. As he told me, every time he posts a job opening, he kind of gets crickets. Eventually, people would apply, but typically they'd be people not qualified at all for his position. And he just didn't understand it. So to help him uncover what the problem was, I had him show me the job posting that he used the last time he hired. It was very vague. And I said to him, that's your problem. Your job posting is not speaking to the right candidate. It's not telling people that this is the job for them. It's not making people excited to apply. And he told me, he goes, well, I just kind of want anybody who's looking for this job title to apply so that way I have control over the candidates. I can sort through them of which ones I want to interview, which ones I don't, and I get my pick of the litter. And I said to him, well, how's that working for you? And that's when he sat there, looked at me and said, well, I guess it's not. And that's exactly it. If your job posting doesn't speak to the right people, they won't apply. Those great candidates that you're looking for are also looking for the perfect job for them. So they need to see the connection between what you're offering and what they want. So for that client, as soon as we wrote a better job posting that spoke directly to the ideal candidate by telling them what the job was in detail and described our ideal candidate so that person that was searching could tell if they matched what was needed to succeed or not, we started to get qualified candidates applying. They went from having crickets, no qualified candidates, when that posting would be up for months with money behind it, sponsoring it, to a free job posting, attracting this very specific candidate within 48 hours, 4 highly qualified candidates. And that's the power of a well-written job posting. You can go from getting no candidates to finding your unicorn employee in a very small period of time. And I know there's going to be some people listening to say, well, 4 candidates, that's not that many. The thing is, qualified candidates. I would rather a client get a low number of qualified candidates than get swamped with unqualified candidates. Those unqualified candidates don't matter. And that brings us to point number 2. A well-written job post also eases your candidate search because it allows the unqualified to excuse themselves from the process. When you have a job posting that clearly defines what the position is and who will succeed in the position, people who don't see that in themselves or don't want that type of position won't apply. Now, no matter how great your job posting is, chances are you're going to get people that don't qualify. And this is because you know more about the position that they do. They're interpreting your words slightly different. So you'll almost always get unqualified people apply. But when your job posting is written well, that number of unqualified people goes down. You have people applying who can succeed in the role, or at least have the background that says their background supports their reason for applying. A well-written job posting also allows you to tell the candidate what it's like to work for you and allows people to excuse themselves from the process if they don't want to be in that environment. For another client of mine, their Christian values are a core driver for their business. And they wanted to make sure that their new hire would be aware of that value and be comfortable working in a place where the Christian religion runs their core values, is the base of their business, and could possibly, as they build out their business and their office, have religious Bible quotes on their walls or as part of their decor. They wanted to make sure that while making sure a person believed in the same religion wasn't important, that their new hire would be comfortable in that environment. Because they also, while Christian values were very important to them, respected the fact that Christian values are not important to everybody. But as they knew, and hopefully you know too, if not, this is your warning, you cannot ask about religion in an interview. So we wanted to make sure that people were aware of what they were coming into without talking about it during the interview. So the job posting was a way that we could do that we were able to mix into what we talked about and shared about the company to make it clear that their base of their business was these Christian values. So someone who didn't believe in that or would be uncomfortable working for a business that had strong Christian core values could say, you know what, this isn't the right place for me. I'm not going to apply. I'm not going to put my hat in the ring because I don't want to work in a place like that. Right? So sometimes we want to make it so a candidate understands the company that they're coming into, the position that they could be coming into, and say, no, this is not for me. So this works with both unqualified and overqualified. And I know people always ask, isn't it a good thing to have overqualified people apply for your position? And the answer is no. You don't want overqualified people taking your time and then coming into your position. Why? Because you might think, this person who has more than what I wanted is coming in and willing to work at this pay rate in this position. This is amazing. Typically, it ends up not being too amazing. And the reason being that overqualified candidates will often end up wanting more than you can afford to pay them, which means they're not going to take the position anyway. Or they're going to come in, they're going to want more responsibility and authority than you're willing to give them within your small business. Or they're going to quickly get bored because the position's not challenging for them, which means typically your overqualified candidates end up either not accepting the position, so they take your time during the hiring process and you're left with nothing, or they come in, they don't stay, and then you're back to the beginning to interview candidates and find a new hire again. And you don't want that. So you want a job posting that clearly speaks to those, once again, those qualified candidates and tells the unqualified this isn't the right place for them. That if they want to be happy at work, they're better off applying elsewhere. So now let's move on to the third way a well-written job post can ease your candidate search. And that is, it actually increases retention. So you might say, well, retention happens after I select my candidate. So how does it ease my candidate search? Well, the thing about it is, if you have poor retention rates, you're going to be searching for candidates more often because as someone leaves, that position needs to be refilled. So you want to make sure that you are attracting the right candidate who is going to stay in the position for the long term. And one of the ways to do this is to write a job posting that accurately matches the job. Because if the job posting doesn't match the job, a candidate's going to come in and say, hold on, I thought I applied for something else. So let me tell you the story that happened to a friend of mine. This was years ago, and this friend applied for a position with a company, was super excited, was selected, and then it was either on the first day of work or one of the 2 or 3 days after she joined the company. The company went through a reorg and her position completely changed. And she was sitting there like, wait, I was hired to do XYZ, and now that position no longer exists, and I'm being asked to do ABC. I didn't leave my last job to do ABC. I wanted to do XYZ. She ended up not staying with that company for very long because she had her mindset that this is the job she was doing. And then the company was like, just kidding. We want you to do this other job instead. And I'm not saying as a company, you can't change positions, that you can't decide that the positions that you have are no longer working and you want to hire for a different position. That's fine. That is in your realm of rights as a business. But you have to know that someone who wants one job is not necessarily going to want or fit into a different job. So if your job posting does not accurately talk about what the job is, or even accurately depict your company, people are going to come in and be disappointed. They're going to feel like you lied to them. And you don't want that. You don't want the first thing that a candidate sees about your company to be a lie. Because if you are going to fib your way through a job posting, what else are you going to lie about? It erodes trust right from the start. And when people don't trust you from the start, it is going to be extremely hard to win their trust back. They are most likely going to very quickly start looking for another position. And while they're still working for your company, chances are they're not going to perform very well. they're not going to put in 100% effort because they're going to say, why? This company doesn't care about me, so why should I care about the company? Which means while you might get some work out of them before they leave, it's not going to be at the level that you expected or at the level that they're capable of. And so once again, when this happens and they leave, you're back to ground zero and back to starting your candidate search over again. So you want to make sure that you write a well-written job posting that attracts the qualified candidate, tells the unqualified that this is not for them, so they excuse themselves from the process, and leads to increased retention rates because the job that was advertised matches the job that they are going to actually do. Now, does your job posting do these three things? If not, it's time to revisit it. It's time to give the job posting a refresh and put something out there that is going to do the job that you want it to do. Your job posting is like a marketing message. It's an advertisement. You wouldn't keep putting something in the market to attract customers if it wasn't working. So why keep putting something into the market to attract job candidates if it's not working? So if your job posting isn't working, or you just aren't sure how to write a candidate attracting job posting, then let's talk. Schedule your Hiring Jumpstart call and let's get you a job posting that is going to work in your favor, that is going to bring the qualified candidates to you so you can find your perfect fit new hire. So if you're ready to schedule your Hiring Jumpstart call, go on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart. One word. So that's growingyourteam.com/jumpstart. And let's take the next steps to get your job posting to do its job, to attract the qualified candidates, allow the unqualified candidates to excuse themselves, and increase your retention rates so you have to spend less time revisiting the hiring process. All right, that's it for today. So go ahead and schedule your call, and we'll be back next week for the Growing Your Team podcast.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.